Okay, so this is a video of my snaps from Bangkok with a preview of a new Soul Science tune. It's lockdown day 1 for the coronavirus in New Zealand. I'm playing with creativity because although we all find ourselves in different circumstances, there is a lot of opportunity right now to reinvigorate and reinvent creatively. You may not be leaving the house a lot, and it looks as if I can't leave the country for winter as I would usually be planning, so I am just trying out new ideas for posting content. Here you'll see some snaps from one of my recent stops in Bangkok I'm using as a visual, but also a taste of a jazzy little forthcoming number from Soul Science, and of course a chance to discuss creative output, the content that you want to make, the content our audience wants to consume, and possibly suggesting that creativity is really just trying new things, right? Alright, today's vid, snaps from Minsk back in July. It's a depressing looking place, but I love it. Austere, gloomy, dour, but when I connect that with the values of minimalism, detachment, purposelessness, you can possibly appreciate the melancholy sense of restfulness, the starkness, total lack of overstimulation here that you don't get in the West, that allows you to appreciate aspects of the Belarusian mood, stoicism, straightforward and sensible, high trust, high intelligence, dutiful. I've spent days walking these gigantic parks, taking in podcasts on philosophy and the monolithic doomer aesthetic that really took me in. The tune you're checking out right now is a new one from us at Soul Science, which is out on Liquid Brilliance. It's called Whispers. It is a Curve archive track. That means all the samples come from artists I work with on CD projects for my business Curve. So creatively, continuing to lay out content, trying new ideas to get content to you. Virus Lockdown 2020. We head to Warsaw next. Hello, yes, so today we are back in August once again, and I am in Warsaw. I wasn't that amazed by it. I know a lot of Westerners do enjoy Poland because you can live quite cheaply, yet culturally you're not too far from the West. You're pretty close to Germany. The Polish economy is actually coming on, but that's probably why I didn't find much about Warsaw that blew me away. I was there for 11 days, so there's plenty of time checking things out. The transport network, very cheap and efficient in Warsaw, and nearly every museum and gallery had a free day, so I saw tons there. But you could feel that the European money, the Western influence coming in, lots of new apartments, new glass towers in the city, and it was quite an Auckland vibe. That didn't really feel quite that authentic to me. I would always probably rate Belgrade and Tbilisi as having much more of a vibing place to get that Eastern European energy and spend hardly any money eating really well every day. But I'm not just doing like travel vids here. I want to make vids looking into the authenticity of creativity, that as an artist, you're looking to explore authentic experiences, authentic storytelling. So I just try to make that possible by just grabbing up my content together, some pictures, some travel, some music, and some few thoughts about how people can engage with your content. Because I don't think you should blame people if they don't respond to your stuff, but you can always experiment with how you're presenting what you're doing now. If people have short attention spans, well, that's not up to me to dictate how they're going to enjoy my content. If I just say, oh, hey, here's a video and it's got some music with it, I did with Soul Science, here's some ideas I've been thinking about, to me, I'm not demanding much investment from the audience in this format. It's just a little bite-sized piece of content. So when I got to Bucharest in Romania, it got interesting because I'm doing these quick videos that scoop up a bunch of inspirations, ideas and music I've been working with into a more accessible, digestible format, which is about being adaptable in the way you deliver more to your audience. But by the time I reached Bucharest, I was into this purposelessness that I delved into, just being frustrated with how unproductive these summers in Europe were becoming. I saw was basically egotistical, validation seeking. It was inauthentic, but it's a useful indulgence I was in a place like Bucharest trying to attain. Rent a cheap apartment, hang out at cafes, drink in the park, basically act like I did when I was 20, trying desperately to be relevant in some kind of creative way. And that what was so beautiful was that there's nothing wrong finding inspiration in reliving that. Bucharest is the perfect kind of city for just wandering around the streets looking at Eastern European type stuff and taking photos, and I love it. Walk all over the city, but wasn't getting anything done. Yet I was just rediscovering, of course, that an authentic artist lives the life of an authentic artist, the life that informs the art being produced, and it bleeds out. That's what gives it its authenticity. Only you can turn the story of your experiences into art so that indescribable experiences can be understood. If you are struggling and striving to live an authentic lifestyle in this way, your art is the most honest reflection of what you're experiencing. And so I do these quick vids. I was walking around Bucharest in the sun, drinking beer, and I felt young and free again. And I wanted my music and my videos to reflect the excitement I had about those ideas. And though I embraced purposelessness, I could still be excited to express my honest ideas as an artist, because that feels pure. Now, I could spend the whole video talking about how great Georgia is once again, but these are not travel diaries. I will get deeper into Eastern European lifestyle in the next Bateway podcast, because these vids are more creative exercises based around authentic experiences that play with ideas and provide inspiration. I mean, there's a lot of cheap places in Eastern Europe with incredible lifestyle, and you can live there for $1,000 a month, maybe not glamorously, but certainly in a way that will allow you to access a creative perspective. In my case, I was feeling like I was going back to my early 20s, back to a time where I would want to have a cheap apartment in a big city, date girls, hang out at cafes and galleries, clubs, and it's like this. I only stopped living like this in Auckland because I couldn't afford it. I was broke. Well, I was stuck in Grey Lynn, and the speculative development was in full swing around me. The connection between my happy parents and the punks and then the ravers was being encroached upon where I grew up. I couldn't afford to live that way anymore. I'm tossed into the grind because there are bills to pay, but in a city like Tbilisi, you're living in that happening city, but it's not costing you next to nothing, and you're not having an immigration problem there. I mean, there's so many little angles on Tbilisi because there's so much going on, whoever the hell you are in your tastes. But the little things like the summer being a lot longer than in the north, and the weed being legal there, the famous cuisine, and the undisturbed layers of history, club, cafe, digital nomad culture, these all fall under those two big factors. One, the incredible basic costs, and two, the incredibly lax immigration. Well, I'm certain I want to build energy there long term, but I knew from Kyiv, anywhere you go, a few weeks later, it's not going to be like this magical place anymore. I knew just coming back here and eating and drinking wasn't going to be enough to get real about the new creative challenges. And when you get to a point you can no longer fool yourself that it doesn't matter and no one really cares, then you might be ready to start making some real art. So this is the last of my creative lockdown diaries, inspirations from my travels. This vid is my trip home from Minsk to Bangkok to Sydney. So tying up a lot of ideas about creativity, from the rediscovery of old excitements in new places, feeling young and edgy again, but also about forcing no purpose in what you're doing, just allowing inspiration to flow around you. Well, in this lockdown, I drew on inspiration from the past, harder-edged, more apocalyptic sensibility of the drum and bass that aligned with the viral lockdown. But ultimately, finding everything going on with my farm has just become too strong, too powerful. The video series is a way of getting inspired by experiences I had in Europe. Went back to Minsk because of the girls I like there, but even though it's one of the most depressing cities in Europe, I began to feel my fate was drawing me back. There's a great lifestyle to be in Tbilisi and all over Europe, and that is there for you when you want it, but when you're searching for authenticity in Minsk, much less was much more. Not everything that is meaningful is necessarily thrilling at all in terms of inspiration, so back to Bangkok I found losing interest. Still a great place to stop, but I did also get to stop in Sydney, which was pretty crazy to be back in a wealthy country, and it was beautiful in spring. Ultimately, I'm on my way back to my farm, though, my own peaceful little place, and seeing what's been happening. Things have accelerated here, and the virus situation meant I got this tremendous confidence about how I'm approaching things, creating cooperative vibes around my farm for what potential problems we could be facing globally, what that really means, resilience, self-sufficiency, cooperation, and getting inspired creatively by that. So this is my last one of these diaries for lockdown. And to follow up, going to do a vid on preparing for the future on the farm and also revising on lifestyle opportunities in Europe and the East in regards to this crisis orientation, because the virus may just be the beginning and we need to weigh all of this stuff up.